Okay, in this section, first of all, there should be a very brief but precise overview of what you have done so far. So, as is written here earlier in the literature review, the researcher provided the theoretical grounds for the impact of perceived risk on trust. A close examination of the relationship between risk and trust indicates that the influence of risk might possibly be valid for only some types of risk rather than the overall perceived risk. So now, if you are a researcher at the beginning level, all you need to do is to tell them that based on our literature review, we have come up with several hypotheses and a conceptual framework. So on the other hand, if you're doing some sort of a research on an advanced level, so probably you need some more justification. So as I did here, so for example, if a consumer cannot trust because the web vendor may behave in an opportunist manner, for example sales fraud, then what makes the consumer unable to trust is most likely to be either a financial or a performance risk. So I'm justifying more what I have said earlier. So as I said, if you're a bit on a beginner level, no need to do all these things. Your homework is already done here, and all you need to define here is that the research framework is presented in figure blah 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 blah. The first four hypotheses, namely these focus on the total effect of the dimension of perceived risk on purchase intention. The next four hypotheses, namely this, are designed to explore the mediation effect of consumer trust in the relationship between the individual types of perceived risk and purchase intention. So here, why I'm saying this, to find the mediation between two variables, it is important to find the direct relationship. So now all these H1A, H2A, H3A, H4A are related to the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. So to check the mediation effect, we have H1B, H2B, H3B, and H4B. So what I will do, so again, if you're doing something on an advanced level, you will justify this. But if you're at the beginning level, all you need to write is that based on my conceptual framework, these are the four hypotheses. So these four hypotheses are, for example, one of it, okay, now I need to go a bit up. Okay, there is a significant relationship between an online consumer's perceived performance risk and their shopping intention. So just bear in mind here that your research objectives and research questions are usually based on those research hypotheses. So earlier, as I said in my earlier videos, that those research objectives are based on the literature review and your ultimate research hypothesis. So now just read this statement. Okay, this is like, for example, this one, to examine the mediating role of trust in the relationship between perceived performance risk and purchase intention. So now here, is there any mediating role of trust in the relationship between perceived performance risk and purchase intention? So now we have four major research objectives, because what we found that there are four main components, or what we can say the independent variable related to perceived risk. So now we have one research purpose, four research objectives, four research questions, and 4 research hypotheses, while each research hypothesis has two parts, part A and part B. These parts are based on finding the direct relationship between independent and dependent variable and finding the indirect or mediating relationship between independent variable and direct variable, while the mediation is done through trust in web vendor. Okay, now just reading this again. There is a significant relationship between an online consumer's perceived psychological risk and their shopping intention. Okay, now the B part. Okay, one of it. A consumer's trust in a web vendor mediates the relationship between the time loss risk and the purchase intention. So, to finalize each and everything, a very brief but a very precise summary. Why you summarize all these things? Because after reading this long chapter, somebody might feel that many of the things are lost. So you can say that in simple words, what I'm going to say, that this is what I have found and this is what I'm going to justify further in my research. So just read this to attend the study purpose. The literature revealed 4 major perceived risk components that can directly relate to online purchase intention. These 4 perceived risk components are this. The literature further suggests that the mediating effect is likely to hold true in such relationship. Now, the thing is that you doesn't know up till now. So this is just a conception right now. So you doesn't know whether it's true or not. So what I write here is likely to hold true. For example, somebody did research in India and did found that such effects are likely to hold true. So, and you are conducting your research in Malaysia. So there is a difference between Indian population and Malaysian population. So what you can say that it is likely to hold true because it was there in India, but although there is a difference between two countries, so I'm not sure about this, but I'm assuming that this is likely to hold true in the context of Malaysia as well. So there is, okay, going further, that is the relationship between each perceived risk component and purchase intention is likely to be indirect and mediated by online consumer trust. Moreover, each perceived risk components act as a trust antecedent, which in turn become a purchase intention antecedent. In simple words, each perceived risk component is likely to reduce a consumer's trust in a web vendor and thereby is likely to reduce or even eliminate purchase intention. Based on these reasonings, this chapter ends by proposing a research framework, or you can say the conceptual framework, along with research hypothesis. So this is the end of this chapter. So I tried it to be as precise at the same time as detailed as possible. So hope you get all these ideas in a more clear way, and hopefully you will be able to get a proper guideline to conduct your literature review. Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for watching these videos. Keep on